up to fight the war. Same thing is true with regard to World War II. Right? We were counting on the Soviet Union, the French, and the British to check Adolf Hitler. The most important event in World War II for the United States was the fall of France. Right? The fall of France had a stunning effect on the United States. Most people think it's Pearl Harbor that turned us around. It's the fall of France in 1940. France was knocked out of the war. Britain was pushed off the beaches at Dunkirk, and that meant that the Wehrmacht had a one-on-one shot against the Red Army, which had performed poorly in Finland, right, had suffered greatly from the purges, and most people thought that the Soviet Union, the Red Army, was going to go down, and Hitler was going to end up conquering all of Europe, right? And it was the buck-passing strategy failed. So what I'm saying to you is that the Americans were unprepared, one, because of the isolationist impulse, and two, because of buck-passing. Then comes the Soviet Union and the Cold War. There's nobody to buck-pass to. The reason that we stay in Europe and we do the heavy lifting of deterring the Soviet Union in Europe in the Cold War and in Asia as well is who are you going to pass the buck to? Japan? You just destroyed Japan. Germany? It's cut in half and destroyed. The French, they got knocked out of World War II. They can't do the job. The British can't do the job. So we had to do it. This is where the isolationist impulse gets taken off the table, number one, and this is where buck passing is no longer possible. Okay, so you see the Cold War is very different than World War II, World War I, right? Now, today, you talk about a potential peer competitor. Isolationist impulse, are you kidding? The United States thinks it has a right to run the world, right? We not only think we have a right to run the world, we think we have a responsibility to run the world, right? And furthermore, buck passing is not in the story anymore. I wish it were, right? We think it's our job to go deal with every problem on the planet militarily instead of getting others to do the dirty work or the heavy lifting, however you want to put it. So as China rises today, we're living in a very different world than was the case before World War I, case before World War II, and even in the Cold War. We'll have no trouble, right? We'll have no trouble adjusting to a Chinese threat. The real problem with China is that it's just so big, right? This is a country that has 4 times the population of the United States, maybe more than 4 times. If it has a per capita GNP that looks anything like South Korea or Hong Kong, this is a country that's going to have much more power than the United States. And we're going to be dealing with them 8,000 miles away from the American homeland. Soviet threat will be chump change compared to that threat. I mean, it could be really wicked. Yes?